What did you like about him as a D tackle, and what does he do pretty well?
Yeah, one more time, we'll use the word flexibility. You know, he's done some inside things, some defensive end stuff. He's moved around, I think 17 plus sacks in the SEC over his course of his career. So he's shown a knack to rush the passer at the highest level. Again, just you know, brings us that flexibility that we like to have because we like moving guys around. So.
A wide variety of just defensive linemen on the board. What was it unique about his skill set that you valued the most?
I think it's the way he got to the quarterback. You know, and you value that over everything. You know, when you're looking at guys like that. So, you know, again, when you're doing it in the SEC, you're doing it, you know, as I said, the highest level. So he's shown he can do it, and you know, it stood out to us.
Is he the kind of guy who plays outside on early downs and moves inside on passing downs?
Potentially, you know, potentially he's shown he can do both, which is great. So, you know, almost 290 pounds, and will have the ability to do a few things for us.
Schematically, how big is that when you can get a guy who can go upfield and you know, rush the passer from the interior as opposed to maybe doing it from the outside?
Yeah, huge. You know, those quarterbacks don't like pressure inside, you know, around their feet, in their face, you know, and that also helps to push it to the outside guys. So it's critical to, you know, you're always trying to rush together as a group, and it can only benefit the whole defense, especially the guys up front.
Lou, he looks mean. Does he play as mean as he looks? And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, he's a D lineman through and through, so he's got that edge to him, which we love. You know, there's no doubt he's going to bring a sense of urgency to the group that we already have, but just add to it. And he crosses that white line. He's a tough guy.
At what point did you guys kind of start zeroing in on him through this whole process?
He's been in the conversation all day. You know, so I think for him to be where we got him, we're pleased with that, because he's been somebody we've talked about, you know, really over the last couple of weeks, spent a lot of time on him, and we're really good about him.
Zach, focus obviously on the draft so far been on defense. What would you say to those who might say maybe take an offensive lineman?
Well, we just signed 3 starters in free agency, and you know, we drafted several guys last year. That year 2 is a good year for them to take that next jump. You know, they know what's expected of them. Coming through a year now in the system and get a chance to go through an off season and know the expectations. And so we expect to see, you know, those guys take the next step during training camp and the off season, really compete. That doesn't mean we're totally out of the market. You know, we got 4 more rounds left in the draft. This is just the first 3 that's been done, but certainly that's the offense side of the ball is what we spent more time addressing in free agency this year, and defense, you know, has been one draft.
Are you looking at him as primarily a 3 tech?
You know, we'll start him out that way, you know, and you know, and again, just 3, 5, you know, all those different things, and work him slightly away from the center, but he'll start out inside for sure.
Does he add something different, Lou, to the defensive tackle room? Is that kind of what maybe you look for in a situation like this? Maybe somebody like that can bring something different?
Yeah, I think I think his skill set, when you look at the numbers coming out of college, you know, when guys don't typically have that many sacks, so on the interior, some of them are from the outside, but the majority are inside. So you know, I think when you add a guy like this, he brings that level of, all right, now we got this extra inside push and ability to beat guards, and he's shown he can beat tackles as well.
You knew you were going to focus on defense the first couple of days, but did you kind of come in thinking a pretty good chance it's going to go defense, or was that a little more up in the air?
No, I think we were going to be in a position where there were some good offensive players there. They would be in the conversation. We are really happy with the 3 guys we walked away from so far. I think we feel very good, especially with this last pick. We walk out of there feeling like, okay, we accomplished not only get value with the right players, they hit some spots that we knew we needed some depth. We weren't going to reach for guys. It's just some guys that we felt good about were there, and we took them. And so you walk away feeling like you've hit some needs and you got the right value for there. So I think it's been a successful first 2 days for us.
Zach, go ahead.
Do you have to have position versatility? I mean, honestly, in today's football, I mean, if you're a one-trick pony, one position pony, is it tougher to find a job in the National Football League and run some kind of position versatility?
It helps, you play multiple fronts and you do a lot of different things, so guys that can do more than one job, I think helps, on defense, as Lou continues to expand what we do and you continue to evolve each year, I think, we've got a lot of guys that feel comfortable playing multiple roles for us.
2 players from the Big Ten, 1 from the SEC. How much does that matter, Zach?
Well, you get a chance to grade them against quality competition, and that's not to mean that there aren't guys from schools maybe with lesser competition that jump out and are great players for you, but it's maybe easier because you see a lot of other guys in the draft that they're going up against, and so it's maybe a little bit cleaner of an evaluation maybe from my standpoint. Scouts may disagree with that, but so maybe that just makes it a little bit clearer on the competition they faced and what's expected at the next level.
It seems like a lot of these first 3 picks have really been, it seems like the mentality's been depth for this year, maybe some competition, but really looking for 2023 and beyond. Is that kind of a good position to be in, given where y'all were at in free agency and kind of having that luxury of being able to work guys in, give them some time? I
think so, because we didn't feel like there was a starter spot. We got a hole at the starter position, which maybe you go into a draft sometimes feeling that pressure to, we're lacking a starter. We went into this year feeling like maybe we had, that threw me off, Zach. Feeling like, okay, now you can get the right players, the right positions that come in here and compete to start, compete to play a solid role, compete for the future. However it plays out, it remains to be seen. Each player, walks into the NFL and is ready on different levels, and so excited to see how these 3 guys come in and where they hit.
Lou, it feels like you have just a bunch of young defensive linemen, kind of in those rotational roles that you brought in. Just what do you like about that group as a whole?
Well, I think they'll be led by the veteran guys that we have, and that's, again, as I mentioned earlier when we came in to talk, that's a huge asset for us and for the young guys coming in, that they get to learn from veterans that have done it and done it the right way. So, it's, I know anytime you get a guy like that or multiple young guys, those veteran guys and our veteran guys in particular will be they're looking to only help these guys, which is great for all of us.
Does this pick kind of make up for Larry Ogunjobi? I know you guys re-signed BJ, and he's going to take over that role, but obviously with how much BJ and Larry played together last year,
Does it make up for the production that you guys got from Larry, or is that potentially something? I think that's hard to make up. Larry, we've got high regard for Larry. He had a ton of production for us, and so this is more about just adding another player at the position that we feel can come and compete. But to say someone's going to walk in and fill Larry's shoes is tough to say.
Do you feel like it's a deep interior defensive line class, or was that something that you thought there might be a drop off maybe after day 2?
Well, we've addressed it, so that'll be somebody else's problem going forward if there's a drop off or not. But we're certainly happy with kids.
How important was it to address it, I guess, today then?
Well, it's one of those things we're not going to reach for. So if the right guy's not there, you're going to wait, maybe take a different position. But Zach was there, and we were happy Zach was there, and so we made the move.
When you look at the edge rush position with Osai and Hubert, you look at that as, obviously drafting last year weren't able to utilize them due to injury. You look at it as a couple of draft picks that basically we're going to unfold in 2022.
I think that's the way I look at it. They didn't, Joseph just played that first preseason game, and Wyatt, got hurt, I think, in May, if I'm not mistaken. No, he was in July, sorry. So, those are 2 guys that never got a chance to really spend a lot of time in the pads and do all that stuff. So I think it's good to get those guys back in the mix and see what competition they can bring.
Could Zach's trajectory potentially be something like Logan's, where he kind of works his way in first year and then ends up becoming a starter before the second year? Is that something that's a feasible plan for him, maybe potentially moving forward?
That's hard to predict. We'll get them in the building, see how they react to life in the NFL, and go from there.
Good.
All good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Gentlemen.